Hello, and welcome to this Midweek Reflection with Rev Deanna from DKR United. We're so glad you tuned into this video. To make sure you don't miss any of our new uploads or live streams, be sure to click the subscribe button. We have a lot of great content coming up, and we don't want you to miss out. Stick with us until the end of the video to find out about all of our upcoming events and worship services.
Hello, everyone. It's Reverend Deanna here with your midweek reflection for nearly our very last week of this series about Epiphany and being the light. It's been a long series, but in some other ways, it's kind of hard to imagine it being over already. I guess maybe because I've missed quite a bit of it being away in January. And speaking of being away, I apologize for missing a midweek reflection last week. I got caught up in visiting with people. Yes, it was so delightful. One of the things about being away for a chunk of time means there's lots of catching up to do. And I just went from one visit to the next, and I was like, well, I guess there's no midweek reflection this week. And so I thank you for the grace. We've been, like I said, we're nearing the end of our series on being the light that God calls us to be in the world. And this week we are looking at another passage from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verses 27 to 38. Where there's a very clear call to love our enemies. Like no punches are being pulled. And it even says, and I've quoted this in the description, why, if you only are loving the people that already love you, like where's the credit, the good in that? Like, they said even our enemies love the people that love them. And so God is calling us to so much more than just loving the people that we get along with, that are similar opinions to us, that are easy to love. You know, I've talked about this before, like some people are easy to love and others you gotta look a little deeper and work a little harder to find that image of God buried deep in there somewhere. And I think for me, in particular, in this world that we are in at this moment, I am finding this call to love our neighbors, to love our enemies, a little more challenging, I guess. There's so much going on in the world, and for quite some time, we have been pitted against so many, almost one another. You know, there's been a lot of talk about how we live in a time where individualism is really prioritized, and we live in a time where so much is instantaneous. You know, and if we don't get that instant gratification, then we're upset. We're instantly upset. And not just a little miffed, but like righteous anger about the tiniest little thing. And I've been noticing that a bit in my own self and doing reflection about where that's coming from. But it also means that maybe we don't have the space to really be able to love our enemies like we're called to. At least not in the way that we envision that we're supposed to, right? I have a lot of colleagues talking about how now is the time we've got to get out there and protest. And I had a colleague from the States sharing on Facebook about how they were emailing all their representatives every day. And I was just exhausted reading the message, let alone thinking of how I could even take one action. And then I'm reminded of what we talked about last week. Seeing as I missed the midweek reflection, you didn't catch that, but hopefully you caught our live service and my reflection on last week. But it was the Beatitudes, and that we're called to do the work to bring about God's kingdom, and that although we might be committed or even overcommitted in our lives, or maybe we're aging and just don't have the energy that we have used to have, or maybe we feel like we've done our turn, that the question is, are we really truly doing everything that we can to be more loving, to love our enemies in this context? And so, a couple things that I want to share. In Robin's kind of a synopsis, he lifted up that Jesus in this passage is talking to you, not to the world. We don't all have to get on board and love each other. Like, that would be lovely, but also impossible. And if we wait for that, then that's not going to happen. And so Jesus is talking to us, asking us to love, asking us to share our light in whatever way we can. And like I said, that might seem extremely overwhelming. But let's start with a simple thing. Our own thoughts. Are they loving? Are we curious enough about our enemies to find out more about their story and maybe help us see the divine in them? Are we curious enough to dig into our own stories and look at that have shaped our lives? I've been taking a course that's called, oh gosh, now I just forget it. Placing Ourselves in Colonialism, Part 2, and talking about how we get out of that mindset. And I was sharing a theological reflection yesterday. I didn't know that I was up, but it was my turn, so my video was shared, where I talked about learning about my family history, where my maternal great-grandmother and maternal great-grandfather had moved over 10 times in their lives from place to place, and my grandmother had birthed 17 children, not all of who lived. And there were several instances when I was looking at the dates that there would be a death of young children, and then within a few months, another birth of twins would be recorded. And I just was thinking of what that woman would have gone through. And as I shared that with my mom, it helped her re-examine her experience of her grandmother, and made it possible so that she could understand her and love her more deeply. And so I think that was something for me, like, sure, maybe we don't have tons of energy to be out protesting or writing our representatives, or lifting up the voices of those pressed to the margins, or holding people that we love accountable for their thoughts and actions. But we can take the time to examine our own, the stories that have shaped us and guide how we are in the world, and look at the truths in them. Is there something revealed, like in my story of understanding my great-grandmother, is there something in there that maybe shifts the story a little bit from what we had always kind of believed? And maybe especially if it's a story that has sort of condemned or pushed another to the margins, is there a way that we can re-examine that story and learn and cultivate an openness in our own selves to look at that with love? And so I think that that's at least where I'm going to start. I know I don't have the energy to be out advocating, and the state of the world right now really isn't uplifting and inspiring me to do that. And so, but I can still greet everyone that I see with love. I can make my thoughts focus on loving people that are maybe irritating me or are acting different than me, and trying to find out how I can love them. So, as we near the end of this, and as Pancake Day gets ever closer to us and the start of Lent, I invite you to contemplate how you can love your enemies in this day and in all the days that we have left to live. Friends, breathe deep and know that whatever you are going through, that you are loved. And may you share that love with all whom you encounter this day. That must mean it is time to go. Take care. God bless. Bye.
Hello, and thanks for watching our video. If you liked it, give it a like and then subscribe to our YouTube channel, DKR United. Subscribing is a great way to stay informed about new videos or when we go live. If you haven't already, be sure to check out our Facebook page called DKR United Church to see our local events, worship services, information, inspiration, and so much more. Please join us for worship on Sunday, February 23rd at 10:30 a.m. Rev Deanna will be leading the service in Killam United Church, and a lay leader will be leading the service at Killam United Church. Mark your calendars. Annual report time is coming. Deadline for reports was Sunday, February 2nd, 2025. If you are on a committee, please ensure that a report is completed and submitted as soon as possible if you haven't done so already. Daysland Annual General Meeting is February 23rd at 11:30 a.m. Killam Annual General Meeting is March 2nd at 11:30 a.m. Please join us for our next free community suppers in Killam United Church on Monday, February 17th and Monday, February 24th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Donations will be gratefully accepted at the door. However, they are not required. This event is open to everyone in the community. We look forward to seeing you there. Please contact the DKR office to request your free weekly newsletter to be sent to your inbox. Call or email the DKR office, which is located in Killam, to sign up. Let us know if you would like to get notified via email about our upcoming Daysland clothing sales. Simply email the church office to get added to the list. If you would like to contact DKR United Church, please use the information in this image or in the description box below. We look forward to hearing from you.